Welcome back for an exciting Tuber Tuesday. Today I'm doing a triple tag. I'm doing 3 tag videos all in one. I hope that you enjoy it. It's so awesome being a part of the Booktube community and getting tagged by people, but I don't want to fall behind in my tag responsibilities. I actually have 4 tag videos that I know I need to do, and I'm only going to get through 3 because could you imagine trying to do a quadruple tag? That's just unbelievable. Alright, we're going to start with the stay-at-home tag. I was tagged by Hugo Reads. He's got an awesome YouTube channel. If you're not already subscribed, please go to his channel. He reads a lot of the same kind of books that I do, science fiction and fantasy. He's a big Star Wars fan. For these questions, they are about the idea that we are staying at home during the pandemic. And even though I have to go to work, other than work, I really am staying at home, avoiding danger, avoiding infection. So let's look at the prompts. The first one, laying in bed, a book you could have read in a day. Oh my goodness, if you're following my Goodreads, you know I've really messed up this month and I am reading all the time. I've been reading a lot of books in just about a day or two. I could give a lot of answers for this one, but that's really because I've been reading a lot of books that are just about 120 to 250 pages, just those small, thin little paperbacks and such. And I do want to give a shout out thanking the pandemic for giving me lots of time at home to get used to reading and to help me in the last year really increase my reading speed. I suppose for an official answer I'll say The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Bythell. Those books are fun, they're easy to take in, and I like the diary format of that one. The next prompt, snacking, a guilty pleasure book. I plead not guilty. Thank you. Though I did just get a 2017 Star Trek Deep Space Nine book in the mail called Enigma Tales. I'm a sucker for a good story with Mr. Garrick in it. For this one's blurb, for some reason it suggests that it's going to pit Dr. Pulaski, the most hated Star Trek Next Generation main cast member, against Garrick. I don't even have to read the book to know she doesn't have a chance. Netflix, a series that you want to start. I assume it means a book series, not a Netflix series. I want to start reading A Song of Fire and Ice, the Game of Thrones books. About a decade ago, I watched season 1 of the TV show. I couldn't keep up with it. I was really busy, and I had trouble keeping track of all the white people with brown hair. Not that I'm racist against white people with brown hair. That would be some serious self-hate. But the only characters that I remember are the ones who were not white people with brown hair. Deep Clean, been on your TBR for ages. The Wheel of Time, book 1. I just haven't been able to get into it yet. I actually have the paperback version in which they split book 1 into 2 books, which is just making it difficult to keep a proper count of the books in the series. Animal Crossing, a book you recently bought because of hype. The Goodreads 2020 category winners, several of which have been huge letdowns to me. The biggest offender was the Sarah J. Maas book, which I thought was called Crescent City because those are the biggest words on the cover, but it turns out it's called House of Earth and Blood. You know, the tiny, tiny little words on the cover. Productivity, a book you learned from or had an impact on you. In 2020, I read Dostoevsky's The Gambler, which made me realize really truly the power of gambling addiction. It's a sad book, but what else do you expect from Dostoevsky? Facetime, a book you were gifted. A couple of years ago, I didn't realize Pierce Brown had written more books in the Red Rising series after the initial trilogy, and my friend gave me book 4 and later book 5 in that series. Self-care, what is one thing you've done recently to look after yourself? I'm allowing myself to take more naps. I've started to feel like one of the cats, just sleeping whenever I want, wherever I want. And a bonus question, name a book coming out soon. The next Dresden Files book is coming out in 2021. It's supposed to be called Mirror, Mirror. That's a fun title for a Dresden book. Tag people. Alright, apologies if you've done this one already. I went to everybody's YouTube channels and scrolled through them and it didn't look like they'd been done, but you never know. Sometimes people record these and they just haven't aired yet. Hey y'all, listen up. I'd love to hear you answer these questions. Book Talks with Yo, I think you would give us some fun answers. Margaret Pennard, I bet you've got some insightful comments on these. And Eliza Baum, I bet you'll give us some nice answers. Consider the 4 of yourselves tagged. I was going to tag Potato Brarian, but she's already done this video. I guess I won't try and make her do it a second time. Alright, moving on. The next tag is the Anti-TBR Tag. I was tagged by Jess the Book Freak. She's one of my favorite YouTubers because she does little skits where she pretends to be her own twin sister or does fun little voices and things like that, so that she turns the tag videos and her other videos into more than just a person talking. And that's fun. Question number 1 for this tag. A popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. I'm going to say all the books by Sarah J. Maas. And spoiler warning, I'm going to keep saying Sarah J. Maas over and over again for the answers to most of these questions. Number 2, a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading. I can't think of any. There are none. I love the classics, so I apologize. I don't have an answer for this one. Number 3, an author whose books you have no interest in reading. That's Sarah J. Maas. I've read one too many of her books as it is. Number 4, an author you've read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. Well, as I was saying, I've only read one of Sarah J. Maas's books, but why would I read more when I felt like it was so awful and not my cup of tea? Question number 5, a genre you have no interest in or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. I'm going to blame Sarah J. Maas on this one, but I tried to get into the romance books. I really tried, and it just didn't work out for me. Number 6, a book you have bought but will never read. Why would I buy a book and not want to read it? I guess if it had a really shiny cover, I might get tricked into buying it, but I don't think I can answer this one either. Question number 8, a new release you have no interest in reading. I'm gonna have to say Sarah J. Maas's newer books again on this one. She releases a lot of books very quickly, also, I've noticed. Maybe they should spend more time on. Alright, for this anti-TBR tag, I tag the following people. Lisa of Troy, let's hear what you don't want to read. Scientist Reading World, I know it may be difficult for you, but try to be a little negative and answer these questions. Lady Jane Books, I bet you're gonna have some delightfully fun answers to these prompts. And Red Panda Reads, I also tag you, though I apologize, I feel like it's going to be a struggle for you to bring negativity to answer these questions. Let's move on to our third tag of the day. It's the 2020 Superlatives Tag. I was tagged by Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures. She does a great job in talking about the books on her channel. She reads a lot of books that I wouldn't necessarily read, but she still makes them sound interesting and makes me consider putting them on my TBR. So if you're not subscribed to her, you should go check out her channel as well. For the 2020 Superlatives, I'm answering this for books that I read in 2020, not necessarily that were published in 2020, because let's face it, that's harder to do. The first one is Class Clown, books that made you laugh. Patrick Rothfuss is going to win this one with the Kingkiller Chronicle books because the protagonist, Quavoth, however you say his name, he's a very funny guy. He's a funny young man. He's very sassy, very sarcastic. Number 2, Drama Queen, book with a crazy plot. The Poppy War series didn't really stick to any sort of typical plot after the first book, so I guess books 2 and 3 in that trilogy would tie for this one. You should read them. Sometimes not sticking to a plot formula is a good idea. Number 3, Life of the Party hyped book. The House in the Cerulean Sea has received a good amount of hype, and I feel that it's fully deserved, even though it really comes across as a book that's written for younger readers, kind of if Pixar was going to make a book. Number 4, Best Dressed, the prettiest cover. Christopher Paolini's latest book, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, had the shiniest sci-fi cover of 2020. I really loved the bright blue. Question number 5, most unique book out of your comfort zone. I hate to mention this book again, but Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City, book 1, had a shocking, vulgar sex scenes that were really pointless and unearned. In your face, to me for no reason. Did not add to the story. Number 6, most likely to travel the world, book set in another place. My favorite book with characters traveling in it this year was Recursion by Blake Crouch. I haven't done a video about this one yet, but I thought it was great. I need to do a video to talk about the different type of time travel used. Number 7, cutest couple, favorite romance. Sadly, I don't have a favorite romance, though I did just read the winner of the Goodreads 2020 Best Book in the Romance category, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. It's actually a fantasy story with some romance intrigue in the plot. Number 8, most likely to surprise you, Hidden Gem Read of the Year. Brandon Sanderson's novella Dawn Shard was, in my opinion, and I hope I don't upset people here, the best book in the Stormlight Archive. And it's just one of those side stories, so to speak, but I really like the focus on one crew going to figure out a mystery, and the way Sanderson handled having a disabled protagonist using a wheelchair in a fantasy setting was really remarkable. Number 9, most likely to succeed, potential to stand the test of time. I think Piranesi by Susanna Clarke deserves to be read for generations to come. It's an intriguing story that I feel sparks meaningful conversations and allows for multiple interpretations of what happened in the narrative. Number 10, most likely to be late for class, a book that you shouldn't put down or couldn't put down. The Chaos Walking series by Patrick Ness, with each book ending in a cliffhanger. I had to just keep going as I read them. Very fun, fast-paced story. Number 11, the book most likely to brighten up your day and to make you smile. Gosh, it should not be difficult to think of a book that made me smile. Oh, that's a bad sign. You know, I just realized as I said that, I've been answering this with books that I was reading both in 2020 and 2021. So I realized I've messed up the whole concept of the superlatives here, and for that, I apologize. I'm not going to go back and re-record the video. Alright, moving on. Number 12, The Best Shoulder to Cry On, a book that made you cry. For all my nitpicking about it, The Midnight Library actually gets this one. When that old man, who thought he was useless, realized that he had saved someone's life, that was quite emotional. Number 13, most opinionated, a book that broadened your perspective. The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini was amazing and helped me understand another culture that I didn't know a lot about. And now that I think about it, I probably cried more for this one than the previous answer. What a story for The Kite Runner. Number 14, most unforgettable book you can't stop thinking about. My answer would be Dune by Frank Herbert. What an epic story. I need to finish that series. Number 15, best all around. Favorite book of the year. I feel like this answer could change based on what day of the week it is and which way the wind is blowing. But for now, I'll say Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, since I immediately added it to my all-time favorites list after reading it. Alright, I need to tag people quickly. Reading and retail. Let's hear your answers. The Font, Literature for Life. What were your superlatives for the year? The Grim Reader. I bet you've got some really interesting, unique books you could talk about for this. And Muddled Words, whose channel I recently found and started watching. Let's hear what you've got to say for your superlatives. One last note, a PS, postscript, I suppose. Danny of Spinelli Speaks, if you're watching this, I've not forgotten that you tagged me in a video. There's just awesomely been a lot of tags to get to, and I thought a triple tag video was already too much. I cannot imagine recording a quadruple tag all at once, so someday I hope to get to doing what you tagged me in. Check out her channel. If you're not watching Spinelli Speaks, she brings a lot of brightness and happiness with what she talks about. That's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Every day is a good day for a tag video. Peace.